Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This is going to be another first impressions video. In today's first impressions video, we are finally doing a full review of my MOS 4956. There are no sponsors to the channel right now. If you want to help me out, all you got to do, man, hit the subscribe button, comment down below. Those are the two things I ask you to do. But wait, there's more. I have a P channel. At the time of filming this, 393. I am trying so hard to get to 1,000 subs. I'm doing one video a week over there. It's a labor of love. I'll post a really high quality video and it gets like 4 views. So if you could help me out by subscribing, I would seriously appreciate it. What you get is a diversification of your subscription feed. The MOS 4956, what a unique and cool rifle, and one that I am so very happy I came across. And how I came across it was very interesting. Actually, it was on my normal full-time gig as a sales rep in the firearms industry, and with parts of that gig, I get to go through many gun shops all throughout the wonderful state of Pennsylvania. And in, I believe it was the Little Sportsman's Shop up in northern Pennsylvania, I walked in doing my thing, and on the wall, I see 4 or 5 of these just mint condition MOS 4956s. They were listed on the wall, if I remember right around $1,200. And although that was a little steep, I noticed that this thing was literally immaculate. It had not a mark on it. And if you're unfamiliar with the MOS 49, you used to be able to pick these things up for like $500. And they were very plentiful. They were always gorgeous and great shape. That time has come and gone, and now they're very hard to find. And the ones that you do find, as a side note, are typically like Royal Tiger type of just beat to shit ones, or you have the Century imports, again, beat to shit, and you're still paying like $800 or $900 for those setups. The importer here is Navy Arms, and if you're unfamiliar with Navy Arms, they're actually right down in Martinsburg, West Virginia, and they import a variety of stuff, but they still freshly import French rifles. And this was in a batch that had recently come in only a few months before I picked this up from a French arsenal. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And this was re-arsenaled. Now you can see by the P77 on the left-hand side of the receiver there that this was actually re-arsenaled in 1977. And I did not mind that fact at all, because it was not re-arsenaled by some bubba here in the States. It was re-arsenaled by the very people that manufactured these rifles when they were new. Also, when I was like, okay, I think I'm going to go with this, the awesome people that worked at that shop were like, all right, you get to pick out an accessory pack as well. I'm like, no way. They had an unopened accessory pack for this rifle. Now, of course, I did leave this. It is taped, so at some point it may have been opened, but I did not tape that. This has been left fully sealed as I received it, and although it would be really cool to break this sucker out, I just can't bring myself to do it. So I have left this sealed, and that's probably where it's going to stay. But you can see in French all of the information that is in here as far as what is in the accessory pack, and I just thought this was, man, so cool. I did have also, it's somewhere, wherever the hell I keep all my manuals, a translated French manual for the rifle as well that the importer meticulously translated and printed off, and I thought that was as well super cool. It did come with 1 magazine. I had been seeing the MOS 49s for years and years and years, and I always thought they were so cool, but I just never was in the financial position at that time of seeing one come through to actually pick one up. The reason why it took me so very long to do this review is because ammunition for this sucker is not cheap anymore, and there really is only one manufacturer that makes it, and that's going to be PPU, as you see here. So you have 7.5 by 54 French is the chambering of this rifle, and it is very similar to 308. So I thought that was interesting, and I know that the one conversion that was done on these by Century to convert them to 308 was really not successful, but that surprised me. I'm very surprised that more people have not successfully converted these to 308, because that just seems like a no-brainer to me if you really wanted a shooter in one of these rifles. But unfortunately, this one, ammunition is just very expensive. I ended up getting my lot of 80 rounds that I shot for this video off AE Ammo. It was the first time I ever ordered from them, but they had this at about $22 a box. Maybe it was $21 a box. It was over $1 a shot, and that was actually the lowest price I could find on this ammunition. So they had more than enough in stock, but it's not cheap. To be honest with you, I don't see myself, because of how excellent of shape this is in, shooting much more than 80 rounds, maybe the occasional 20 rounds, give it a whirl every once in a while, but this is really a collector grade rifle, so I'm not going to be like beating the living crap out of it at the range. You have a really unique operating system. This is actually just a DI rifle with a tilting lock bolt and carrier that you can see there. So it's almost, I don't want to say roller delayed, because it's not roller delayed, but it's tilting delayed, and it's gas impingement. I just think that's the coolest thing ever in this rifle. It is still kind of your perfect Cold War era battle rifle, and this was essentially the French equivalent of, let's say, a Belgian FAL or a German G3 or our version of the AR-10. This was the French introduction to that world. Now, this was originally designed to be fed primarily through stripper clips, as you can see with the guide here. Although you can purchase more of these 10-round magazines, we're talking about an era where detachable magazines were still relatively new, and military doctrine at that time, in France at least, was still stuck on the stripper clip game. So if you see these actually in service a lot of the time with photos from back then, a lot of guys did have a lot of extra magazines. So you did see guys still opting to swap out these magazines, as these rifles were still used well into the 60s and well into the Vietnam conflict, when France was involved in that in the very beginning. Magazines for these, very expensive and very hard to find right now. You're looking at maybe $60 to $70 per 10-round magazine. It's kind of similar to an AK, a scope mount on the side of the rifle that slides into place. Unfortunately, I don't have one of those. And the disassembly on the rifle is very similar to an SKS, which I thought was also super cool. Now, these rifles just go with the vibe of the Cold War and have a grenade launching whole front attachment up here. So this is very stiff on mine. I got to hit it with a mallet, but this is adjustable for yardage to get that from the position here all the way up, and you see your yardage, or probably meters distances here, and it is spring loaded. A compensator on the end, which is actually very helpful on this thing, and then also your grenade launching front sight and also gas shutoff. So this is going to shut off the gas and give you the ability to line up your rifle grenade to shoot from this position. You have a sling mount on the rear, gorgeous wood furniture, and a rather short length of pole. That was something that I did notice at the range. This thing jumps around a little bit, but the recoil was surprisingly manageable. I spent the first portion of this range day actually shooting a 1903 and 30-06, and man, that thing's got a punch to it. This was nothing similar to that. It felt very similar to a 308 with a wood stock, kind of like an M1A or something like that. More of a push rather than a smack into your shoulder. Ghost ring sights, and the sighting picture was pretty good. The only thing that I did notice is that because your sight leafs here for your front sight are close to the actual blade itself, it was easy to accidentally jump to one of the protection leafs rather than the blade itself. So I did notice that upon shooting, but shooting it was a blast. It was an absolute blast. I actually thought this was, every time I pulled the trigger, I was just like, man, this is a cool gun. I really enjoyed it. You can generally tell these things just immediately out of a lineup for their very unique charging handle that's made of this white nylon. I always saw these as a kid and just saw them floating around, and I thought they were really cool because of this feature. So it does have a last round bolt hold open. Obviously, if we take out our magazine,
that'll be a cool
there's
angle.
no bolt release, but you can send the bolt home and pop your magazine back in. But I was, again, so unbelievably impressed with this rifle, and you don't see them that much anymore. It's a great way to diversify your collection, and also I think these are a great investment piece as well. I really can't say anything other than great things about this, and I'm so very happy I was able to find one. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support on this channel, and stay tuned for more great content coming soon.